Prove you're old enough. Don't tell us who you are. That's the promise behind the European Union's new approach to protecting children online, and it might be the hardest technical problem the bloc has set itself yet. On the 15th of April 2026, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and Executive Vice President Henna Virkkunen announced that a new EU age verification app was technically ready. 2 weeks later, the Commission published a formal recommendation for a common EU-wide approach to age verification. Non-binding, but ambitious. At least one compliant solution in every member state by the end of this year. Let's start with why this exists at all. In April 2026, the Commission preliminarily found Meta in breach of the Digital Services Act for failing to stop children under 13 from accessing Facebook and Instagram. In March, it opened a formal investigation into Snapchat for the same failure and for not properly checking whether users were old enough for an age-appropriate experience. The platform learns one bit of information. Old enough? Yes or no, nothing more. The EU's own app is built on a protocol called OpenID for verifiable presentations. It's open source, designed to plug into each country's existing identity infrastructure, and built to eventually connect with the EU Digital Identity Wallet, the single digital ID every member state has to offer its citizens. 5 countries are testing it first: France, Greece, Italy, Spain, and Denmark. But here's the tension underneath all of this. While Brussels builds one harmonized system, member states are moving on their own timelines. France is restricting social media access for under 15s, starting September 2026. That follows Australia's under 16 social media ban, the world's first, which took effect in December 2025 and has become a reference point across European capitals. A European Parliament committee has separately backed an EU-wide digital minimum age of 16, with parental consent required between 13 and 16. Right now, the legal age of digital consent already varies from 13 to 16 depending which member state you're in. Harmonization is supposed to fix that fragmentation. It only works if enough countries move together, fast enough, before national laws diverge even further. Now, the part of this story that probably matters most to anyone thinking about where regulation is heading next. The Parliament Committee's proposed 16-year threshold isn't limited to social media and video platforms. It explicitly extends to AI companions and chatbots. That's a category the Digital Services Act was never built to name directly. Under current rules, a chatbot only falls under DSA obligations when it acts like a hosting service, letting users generate, store, or share content. On top of that, the EU AI Act separately imposes transparency and risk management requirements on generative AI systems more broadly. Put those together, and a teenager's relationship with an AI companion could soon sit inside the exact same age-gate logic as their Instagram account. That is a genuinely new consent boundary. There is almost no regulatory precedent to draw on. The Commission is refreshingly candid about where this could still fail. The VPNs let anyone technically capable make their connection look like it's coming from outside the EU, sidestepping the whole system. Shared family devices and borrowed logins remain an obvious workaround, and the Commission has said as much itself. Smaller platforms may genuinely struggle with integration costs that larger competitors absorb without blinking. And there's a bigger question that hasn't been fully answered yet. Once age verification runs on the same digital identity wallet infrastructure used for banking, healthcare, and government services, what stops that infrastructure's use from quietly expanding well beyond child protection? That's not a reason to dismiss the effort, it's a reason to watch how it's built. Privacy-preserving design and effective child protection have usually been treated as a trade-off. More of one meant less of the other. The zero-knowledge approach is a genuine attempt to prove that framing wrong. Whether it survives contact with 27 member states, a December deadline, and an entire generation of workaround-savvy teenagers is the actual test. If this matters to you, the full article is on Substack, links in the description. And if you found this useful, subscribe. This is exactly the kind of story Cyber Ethos exists to tell.